Today we are chilling and rebuilding at the same time. I like it. Well, cheers, guys.
Nice to see you guys.
Good to see you.
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. Well, busy week. Lots of activities. Let's start chronologically. How about that? Let's start with a Monday meeting. Yeah. Monday council meeting. Well, even prior to the council meeting, we had a good meeting with the city staff. So, yeah. What sort of
I almost forgot about that city staff meeting because it was totally useless to me. Like, I'm sorry, they were like making all these promises to the homeowners about all these improvements they made, but these were such a long time coming that I wasn't very impressed, to be honest. And as somebody who's been in this world for a while, it should have happened years ago.
I don't know.
They're taking these promises.
I take the other side of that. I actually walked away for the first time feeling quite optimistic about stuff. It's like, okay, sure, it's taken us 8 months to get to the stage, but it was almost like a point-by-point response to the points that I was about to make in the deck of slides that I'd shared with them before. And that's one, is like, okay, the responses seem pretty good. But the other part of what I liked was how they had set it up for us. You know, they had their full staff in waiting. They were prepared for questions. It just seemed like they were very willing to engage and listen and make a difference. And they said a few things which were very encouraging, frankly, which, so yes, to be seen whether the promises come through, but I, came away quite positive.
So also chronologically, so this was a meeting that happened on Monday before the city council meeting. So it was a meeting that was with the MRTF, right?
Yeah.
So we were there, and the meeting was at 3 p.m. And then at what time was it? 3 p.m.
Yeah,
and then
whatever.
So yeah, I kind of agree with both of you at the same time. I don't know if I can do that, but
Now, the question is there going to be a meeting every 2 weeks on Monday afternoon to try to dissuade you from...
Present it.
yes, like...
Present it.
Look,
I don't mind
handle
that.
you.
I don't mind that. If that's...
I'm kidding,
if that's what it... If that's what it is, I mean, look, we would rather not go up to council and present a whole bunch of stuff and take up a whole bunch of oxygen and time in the room. What we'd want to see is progress.
So
My point is, I want to see the progress too. And
Progress, not promises.
there you go. Everybody feels optimistic about what's happening in the last week or so, but let's see it. Let's see the words turn into action.
Yeah.
Because it's easy to have a feel-good meeting. It does feel like we're all getting on the same page for the first time, which is kind of exciting, but there's still a lot of work to do. And it's going to take courage to do the work.
For sure. And the genesis of this was the council meeting 2 weeks back when I shared all the data, and council was like, guys, bring me some solutions, bring me some answers. So we had a bunch of conversations with staff, and that was going on. And then over the weekend, prior to that Monday meeting, there were more conversations, and that's where, listen, and the comment was, listen, if you want to go present, but let's have this meeting first. And after the meeting, it just was pointless to go up and present that, because essentially all of those, points were
been
answered
addressed, and then it
was
was
of the meeting.
So again,
Maybe except one. Which we are still not on the same page with. And that one is the one which is, let's talk to someone from LA. Let's talk to someone from LA Department of Building and Safety, LADBS, and let them tell us what to do. And I think I still see a lot of resistance, from both staff and council, even that, look, we are different. There isn't that much that we can actually learn from there.
Every strong organization is open to hearing good ideas. It doesn't mean you accept the ideas. You might have your reasons why those ideas don't work for you, but there should be no reason except insecurity or ego that you would not want to hear what the other side is doing.
And we don't have to hear that conversation, but we do want to know the conversation took place. LADBS talked to Malibu Planning, shared ideas. That's all I want to hear. I don't
there
need
is
to hear the ideas.
I'd like to hear
There is inherent,
But we already know the ideas.
there is inherent belief that it's two different animals, and there isn't and cannot be any overlap. You can't have any comparisons. You can't have any what's the right word here, similarities in the approach.
It's not apples to apples, but they mentioned that they meet with them. For example, for the Archistar thing, they keep repeating that they are in contact with LA County and LA City to see how they do it. So then they do it after. So I think that there's some conversations, but they don't want to frame it as, okay, we're going to talk to them because you told us that we need to talk with him.
Look, pressure is building. And it's not to discount the hard work that you've done, Abe, or that the task force has done, or council or staff. Everybody's working hard, and we're making progress because of that. But also, the reality is that things don't look very good to an outsider. At the 5 or 6 month mark, we were hearing at council meetings, not only are the first permits going to be issued, we've got 3 that are really close. That was at 5 months. At 7 months, we had 1. At 9 months, we have 2, which worries me because, I'm glad they're getting out there, but there were 3 in mind 4 months ago. Does that mean when the 3rd goes out in another month that there are none other that are close?
I haven't checked the stats. Have you checked the stats this week on their website?
I think it's maybe 1 more got issued.
But also, like with Woolsey, at this time, I heard this from a planning commissioner that we were already double. Like at this time, there were like 10 permits, and Woolsey had half of the fire victims.
Yes.
There wasn't with LA fire also at the same time. So that was the point. Okay, right?
With Woolsey, no?
Yeah, so the consultants were torn away to do a bunch of work.
But which consultants?
Geotech, civils.
No, we're talking, but that's not the problem that we have right now. There's only 10 applications.
There's a little bit of relationship. It's not completely exclusive. Having said that, the counter to that is that the debris removal happened here much faster and better than Woolsey.
So shouldn't even be
That's what
a reason to do it faster.
There should be a reason to do it faster.
I think the holdup is in the consultant network right now. People submitted to get their PV. They got it. Now they're waiting for everybody. So, and I say that because I had conversations with Geotech.
You mean the consultants working for the I?
Yeah, the design team consultants. Geotech, I talked to the guys that issued proposals to me. They're 20, 30, and 15 weeks out on their calendar to go test soil. So if that's Geotech, I can only imagine the rest of the consultants are as backed up. That's creating a big backlog problem in the PV to building permit application process.
The system is stressed, no doubt about it.
Like for those 100 planning approvals only, though.
Let me share some numbers if I
But
can.
there's not even 100. There's 50 planning approvals. So there's only 50 people waiting for consultants.
So there's 50.
But there should be like 300 waiting for consultants, not just 50.
We don't have LA City numbers because they don't publish a dashboard. We do have LA County numbers, and these came from a couple of days ago.
Dashboard.
They do? I got to take a look at it. LA County unincorporated had 7,500, little less, 7,448 damaged or destroyed structures.
Including Eden and Palisades?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, this is unincorporated.
Yeah, so Altadena is an incorporated.
They've received 1,800 rebuild applications. Now, that's roughly 18 times what Malibu has received, okay?
Yeah.
In fairness to Malibu, but here's the problem. 240 parcels already have permits issued. That's 100. So
That's
they've had
10%.
18 times the applications? Okay. They've issued 120 times the number of permits than Malibu has. Not 18 times, 120 times. Their average business days to issue a permit is 71 days.
Well, the clearest comparison was with
2.5 months.
when you looked at the numbers, when we looked at the percentages in what we call plan check, it was a 30x difference between Malibu and LA. And you could rationalize maybe a 2x, maybe even a 3x difference with some of the consultant problem that you're citing, with some of the, the customer issues that we were citing. But you can rationalize a 30x difference. Now, here's the thing. What we got told on Monday is that we're going to take a good hard look at a bunch of the steps and we're going to cut them right out. In fact, a 12-step process to just get your plans in the system would be cut down to 6 steps. And that's been the point all along. Is that, look, we didn't have to wait 8 months to do those. And if we did not do that, then, maybe things would be faster.
The list looked very familiar. Right.
Listen, I don't want to point fingers. We are what we are 9 months into this.
Yeah.
That's fine. Let's pretend today is day one. We're in a hole.
That's right.
Let's fix things.
I think that's your
I
approach.
think we have the moment.
I think that's the approach, and that's what was encouraging on Monday. A couple of other things that we heard, for instance, is Archistar. I think the Malibu team is actually, Ben. I chatted with Ben afterwards. For the audience, Ben is the founder of Archistar, and Ben was very pleased with the kind of engagement that he was receiving from the Malibu team. And when we checked in with Sam and Andre afterwards as well, they seemed very engaged and plugged in and looking forward to the implementation of it. So that's a couple of weeks away. That's going to be hopefully a shot in the arm. So it seems like the momentum is there. It seems like we are sensing people from the Rebuild Center calling up people and say, okay, let's go. Even if you don't have the full package, let's get it through. That happened to me, earlier this week. The plans weren't stamped from the civil engineer. We had a call to the Rebuild Center. Okay, submit it. We'll check in with the second round. And that's the mindset we need. It's an execution mindset.
And I'm going to have to go back a little bit on what I said about the Monday pre-meeting a little bit. I'm going over my notes. And yeah, they are doing a lot of good things.
Ever
I'm
say
so angry about the Tuesday meeting, though, that I kind of forgot all the good things that happened.
So Monday meeting was a good meeting.
Yeah.
Monday meeting, I think, was a good meeting.
The 8.5 by 11 sheet they introduced for the planning pre-check screenings, that's a good idea. Standard notes.
I want to add something. There's an MEP thing. So now MEP is required if your house is bigger than 3,000 or if it has 3 stories or more. That's a new thing.
They added a 3-story.
in the 3-story things,
In many instances, they are deferring to an RCP, and that would be fine.
Well, they said mechanical
Why are we
engineering
adding
right
new
here.
requirements?
Yeah, I
How
know
many
that.
people-
Oh, you.
It's not a new requirement. I mean, MEP has been there for a while. We've been challenging it.
What, the 3-story thing? No.
Well, yeah, but how many 3-story houses do you think there are that are less than 3,000
beach?
square feet?
Many.
There's a lot of 4x4 houses going
Well,
up.
there were a lot of level houses.
That's actually the dream. Is a lot of
It's one of those. It's
4x4.
it's one of those things. It's one of those things where I think it's going to be a conversation. It's like, I mean, you made this point. Let's be clear. We can't achieve that with as much clarity as we need, but short of that, I think it's going to be sort of like a negotiation.
And then also, like, it wasn't really clear. And I asked this because there was the same meeting happened on Wednesday with the architects and design professionals.
How's that?
Same but different.
Same but different.
The same set of slides you got presented?
Similar. They didn't include the ArchiStar slides for plan check, and still a bunch of the questions that I asked.
They didn't want to anger the design.
Up in the air. Luca was there. He was like very.
They were like, Luis is here again. Like, make up your mind, man. Are you part of the resident group or the design professional team? This is just can't fuck to this.
They asked me,
Get rid of this guy.
Are you a captain? I said no, but I'm helping them. Like they were kind of mentioning me by name. Like I don't care. But what I was gonna, you distracted me.
They had same but different meetings, right? So what were the different things they told the design
Well,
team?
they focus a lot in the whole thing of the 2025 code upgrade.
Yeah, that's another BS.
Which was
edition.
something that I thought that the
EO
governor's executive error
His later one. He had a later EO
Yeah.
that suspended the 2025.
But here's the thing.
2025
It
update.
doesn't suspend. What it does is like, let's say the cities, they have 6 different sets of codes. Well, that he's saying, I'm suspending coastal and I'm giving you freedom to do these things. It's up to you to take this freedom or not. So Malibu is choosing. I thought that we chose to cancel the 2025 upgrade and not to require PVs. That was the second one. But now it looked like
They're
we were
tracking
getting, they want us to pressure our clients to submit and get the plan approval before December. That way the code upgrade doesn't trigger, which is a good thing. There's going to be more submissions, but
It's a good thing.
were we supposed not to have these upgrades?
Well, so then,
Autonomous?
if they're using that submittal date for the PV as the date that holds
PV
the-
approval.
Oh, so that's the problem. The way I understood it on Monday is they said if you submit for a PV, that's the date that triggers the code. And so that's what I'm running with until proven otherwise. You're telling me today you're proving me wrong?
Yes, and also the other thing that is changing is that PV planning approval will automatically trigger your submission to plan check.
what I'm-
So this is what you need. You need that data of, hey, I'm in plan check.
Yeah.
That way, this is the code that applies to me. But I asked this question, which wasn't responded, which is, what is the expiration date of that submission to plan check? Because in county, if you start, it's 1 year. 1 year.
So that's good.
To be in the system is 1 year, and then you can extend it.
Well, so now my schedule just jumped ahead a month. Because I
Exactly.
can't, I don't want to
This
do
is
the
gonna be
2025 CVC. I want to do the current
It's gonna be
2022.
15% more expensive.
Well, there goes my whole vacation. I guess I got to draw a house.
No, on the ship, on the boat. Well, so Monday evening council, I think it was largely uneventful when it came to the rebuild because I pretty much got up and said, look, we had a great meeting and let's just keep at it kind of thing. I think
You didn't talk very long.
No, I didn't talk very long. I mean, it's basically, I spoke with them offline as well. Guys, I mean, this is the kind of progress we need to see. Let's just keep ourselves accountable to see the progress. I think to me, one thing that I did not appreciate was when was some of the council members' commentary to Al Broussard's comment.
I feel the same way.
I thought that was off color.
Yeah.
The gentleman, drove all the way to educate, to be earnestly educating people. Maybe his tone was a little bit too critical, but certainly there were.
Yeah, they don't like it.
Certainly there were some useful nuggets in what he was trying to express.
There was a suggestion that he should be grateful that he has his permit and he shouldn't be complaining about anything, as if he should be grateful that it took 9 months with a land use consultant for a son,
An expert, the hell is in a center.
to get a dam rebuild permit. I thought that was completely inappropriate. The comments from council about that, and other people have mentioned that people who are in the process, homeowners who are going through it right now, are fearful of speaking out. We've heard as zone captains when we say council wants to hear about the problems you're having. We've heard directly, I'm not comfortable rocking the boat. I just want to keep my head down. I don't want to raise a stink. People are afraid of retaliation from the building department.
Well, and then if you get chastised like that, sort of in public for making a comment like that, look, it's a big deal for a lot of folks who want regulars to get up on the mic to show up. It's a little bit of an intimidating environment. Well, I remember the first time in Feb when I went up and spoke, I was like, man, I mean, this seems very formal. Council members all dressed up in suits and stuff,
Looking down on you.
At least you don't whisper, at least.
The first time I was up there, definitely nerve-wracking. So a person doesn't want to volunteer for those.
volunteer, and then you got to wait all the while until you're
What's the point?
It's a real thing, and then you get beat up. That's just that wasn't
Without a chance to respond.
Did he leave before Bruce said all this?
Yes.
He left, but he heard
So
the
he didn't
comments.
really- oh.
No, he heard the comments. We had a message exchange the next day, and I said, look, I mean, people needed to hear that, so thank you for coming up.
Also, council asked you, right? Like, are you happy? This is good enough. Your response was like, well, we're happy, but we want to see this be like it should be real, right? And then
94 is every month. That's what we want.
Well, I mean, I understand that council wants to come across and send the message that, look, everybody's working together, all our constituents are doing good, they're not beating each other up, and we are making progress overall. And that's a message, gosh, we'd like to send as well. And I think that we made some strides. Well, another fun meeting, I guess, on Tuesday.
I haven't rewatched it. Have you rewatched it completely?
So I watched half of it, and what the hell happened with that meeting? So the problem I have with the council meeting on Monday is they announced their closed session meeting on Tuesday, wherein council was going to learn about coastal engineering and wave uprush.
Just the rebuild task force that they have,
It was
right?
closed session, though, is how it was marketed.
Closed session.
Coastal engineers.
Right,
Closed to
which
public.
meant I couldn't go.
Close to public, yes.
So somehow, 3 public homeowners showed up and opened up the doors or broke down the doors. And why did that happen? Why is that allowed?
Why didn't you show the initiative to do it yourself, Darren?
Because I play by the rules. That's why. And
Well, there's a lesson there.
yeah, apparently you can't. So if you show up and just bang your fists, they'll open up the doors and break their protocol. And so 3 people had the ability to debate and hold their position against the coastal engineering community. And I think that's a little ridiculous that I wasn't allowed the same opportunity. And my stance is those outside consultants who are speaking out of turn, they should not have been presenting the way they did. And the fact that that is now public record and it's on YouTube, I mean, I'm going to pick it apart until the sun goes down.
So this is the reason why you were not invited.
Probably.
Because you're critical of them.
I mean, who isn't critical of that geotechnical firm?
Well, more people need to be critical because what they're suggesting is the potential destruction of Malibu's beaches. They want all beach homeowners to install massively overbuilt seawalls. Not to protect, it's not a life and safety issue, by the way. It's not to protect homeowners or the houses It's to protect.
The environment.
No, it's bad for the environment. Hold on, sir. It's to protect the septic tanks that nobody should be putting in anymore.
Well, the septic tanks that protect the environment.
Because ideally there's a sewer line. Okay, fair enough. But the fact that these seawalls would go in would cause massive erosion to our already eroding beaches.
It'll be gone. Every beach will be gone by 2060.
You're going to have rocks and concrete. That's what Malibu is going to become. And if there's any way that they can bypass the need for these new seawalls, they should take it. This is the council and the city I'm talking about. And that's either via sewer line or the grandfathering in of working intact tanks.
So we heard then on Wednesday from Yolanda, the design professionals, that it looks like now people with intact septic tanks, even if not advanced, can keep them. And also seawalls.
That's a huge one.
And seawalls
That's a
can be
huge win.
built out of wood instead of concrete.
So that happened in the last hour of the Tuesday meeting, because the first couple hours it did not happen. And the consulting firm, not the city, the consulting firm made a statement that everybody on the beach has to upgrade to AOWTS. There's a slide that says it. They say it like it's truth coming straight down from God, and that's not true at all.
But you were the one who told them. You showed them the lamp.
I know. And so why aren't they just showing the text of the lamp to everybody? Just put that up. Say, we know you don't want to read the 250 pages of the lamp, but here's the part that's germane. And then have every consultant.
Look, I mean, I think they understand they're on thin ice on this one. I mean, initially it started out as, look, here's an opportunity to get advanced systems in for the betterment of the environment, et cetera, et cetera. You know, these folks can't probably afford it, who knows, but here's an opportunity nonetheless. But I think they realize that it's on thin ice, and the foundations of the premise is shaky at best, and probably why they're coming out even stronger, like it's a dictation from God.
And we need to understand also the jurisdictional structure, right? So there's like the state water board thing. There's the lamp, which is an agreement with the city, but there's another jurisdiction. So it looks like
What's their jurisdiction?
It's like the state one.
It's not Cod Shires, I can tell you that. So they shouldn't be speaking as if they're a jurisdiction.
There's two water boards, and I think that one contradicted the other probably after you sent those emails and you reached out to all these people.
My understanding is the LA Regional Water Board is under the California State Water Resources Board. Okay, so there's the California State Water Resources Board.
With
LA Regional is answered
They
to
contradicted.
them. Yeah, but the thing is, they answer to each other. Like it's a hierarchical state government thing. So the Regional Water Board has to do what the State Water Board says.
And you know why they're contradicting themselves, Luis? Because you can have this mindset that make the beach people do everything we want because they can afford it. Okay, fine. It's not true across the board, but let's go with it. The problem is the seawalls hurt the public interest. They're not only hurting the private homeowners because of cost, they're hurting the public interest in our beaches, our shared collective beaches. So they've reached a point where they realize asking for everything is actually damaging the community.
You go down to San Clemente and just talk to anybody there and ask them, what do you think about that rimrock next to PCH? And they'll
I don't know if
their
they had
heads
an
will
argument.
start smoking. Like, we hate Caltrans, we hate seawalls. They ruined our entire surf experience.
But that's the minimum required. You want a house, then the best solution is don't build a house.
No, so that's incorrect. Go to Big Rock Beach, and you don't need to build a
Let's
seawall.
print out the lamp. It's not required.
You need a seawall to protect your septic on the beach.
You don't need a septic on the beach. You don't. I have a septic in a hill.
Well, if you have room to have it in I don't know that threshold right there, but if you're a house floating in the air on a
That's what I'm talking
and
about.
you don't have room to put it on the land, you have to protect it.
Yeah, but the septic that exists is in a dirt.
In your
rock
case, in
hill.
your particular case.
My case and 20 people on either side of me. So it's not just me. It's a little neighborhood between here and Topanga, and every one of those houses should not need a seawall.
But I think that your problem is the absolute elevation, right? So there's a minimum required. So you can be as surrounded by dirt as you want, as long as you're not too low. And in your case, you're pretty low.
No,
Well, but
not really.
here's the thing.
So PCH at Big Rock
Said
Beach,
30.
32 feet above sea
And
level.
your
BFE is 19. We've got 13 feet of play.
What is your septic and your leach field right now?
It's like
what-
2 feet under PCH.
So it's up there at 30 feet? Yeah, you should be.
That's what I'm saying. It's up in the bluff.
Yeah, so you need to tell them that.
I have. And they're like, well, Cotton Shires is like, well, screw that. We need you to upgrade to AOWTS and put that AOWTS leach field where the sand currently is and destroy the beach.
When you get to
While,
talk to them in person,
while we, your Darren's feelings got hurt personally because he wasn't allowed to partake in that exchange. But dude, we take that trade off any day, because Tuesday afternoon we had another super fun conversation with the guys at Zuru. So they started talking septic and effluent.
That's true.
Man, that was such a refreshing distraction.
And thank you. You've already put me in a better mood, because that was really
That was fun.
It
illuminating.
was fun.
That was fun, man. I'm a construction guy, and for a long time I kept thinking that, man, prop tech is lagging so far behind. We need some technology.
Prop tech is property technology or something like that.
Yeah, proper technology. It's one of the laggards when it comes to technology implementation, and fundamentally that's because it's been largely a lucrative industry, and there just hasn't been impetus for change.
it's already ingrained in
And a very
the
great
system. Yeah.
So to
political
see these
bullshit.
folks taking a major bet, and maybe for the audience, one of you just maybe break it down in terms of what they're intending to do. Well, first of all, listen to the other pod.
Yeah, the pod we released this morning, right?
That's right.
So they're about 10 to 20 parcels on my former beach.
Who's they?
Zuru
Company Zuru. Zuru Tech. Zuru Tech's a division of Zuru, which was originally a toy and toy manufacturing company. But now they've expanded into all these other areas.
New Zealand.
That's correct. Yes. The Mowbray brothers are the owners. We met one of them after the pod. He seemed great.
Yeah, pretty chill.
I guess like all New Zealanders are. I have so far yet to meet a New Zealander that's not chill.
I have to say, as I had skepticism at a minimum and a little bit of fear about what they were going to do, probably like a lot of people before our meeting. Living on this beach, what was going to go up around me, all my neighbors, with this quote-unquote manufactured housing. But the way they described it, the systems they have in place, the safety of these structures, the speed at which they could install them. I mean, their target is construction in 2 months, which they probably won't hit at this prototype stage. But even to improve their own systems, I mean, their big innovation seemed to be over other manufacturing housing companies is this software that they've developed, which has been long in development, but basically it's manufactured housing with, as they described it, pretty much infinite variability. So you can build a custom house, but it can still be built quickly in a factory, safely, safer than they would build it on site. And
Well, I think their biggest step above the competition in manufactured housing is their use of robotics, right? The way that Marcel described it, he said they have most of their staff building new robotic machines, not designing houses, not designing toys, making the machines that make the toys possible, making new machines that make the housing components possible. And so if they're moving leaps and bounds ahead of the competition in their robotic automation process, that's what's going to set them apart.
And the supply chain that can bring this stuff from halfway around the world here. Which they had the distribution network already.
We didn't ask them about the tariffs and the whole political climate about that
No,
right
but
now.
I think they're going to aim for a target pricing that's going to be so low that short of the tariffs being like a 200%, which is never going to be, it'll still probably be favorable.
But also, like, it's like a dream, right? Like, it's like a little. That's what they want to go to right now. For these houses in Malibu, they're gonna be traditional construction up until they get to the concrete slab, and then they said that
I think that's
it's
going to be
be
the case even for
It's
future.
gonna be $15 million home, so it's like $3,000 a square foot home.
that's
But
the
that
retail.
includes all
That's
their-
right.
No. That's the cost of construction.
No, he said they're going to retail for 10 to 15 million.
It's gonna say less than 3,000.
but that includes their R&D that they're putting in.
No, it's cost of construction.
I think it included their R&D costs.
Yeah, it'll definitely include the R&D costs. It'll include Marcel's bonus.
Well, no.
They'll include the boat that they buy to watch their houses get put up in a week.
If they can do this, the event hit before they were fully ready. But if they can figure this out, it won't help our rebuild necessarily. Although, if they can, build 15 to 25 houses get our neighborhood resuscitated quicker than anybody else. That's pretty amazing.
I love it.
But
It's awesome.
It'll help. Love it. It'll help the next wildfire.
It's giving confidence.
Well, not only
People
the next wildfire, any
invest.
disaster.
Any disaster.
Any
Post
disaster.
any disaster, if you have a system in place where we know we can rebuild in a matter of months, you know.
Yeah, look at the
that's-
New Orleans rebuild. How long did that take, and how shitty were those houses?
Yeah.
Right. If
Yeah.
this is 10% better than that, it's a win. It's going to be 80% better.
And if they can build a house that's indistinguishable from the one that I'm building, traditionally, I mean, that's another. People are going to walk in. It's going to seem nicer because all the walls are perfectly plumb, as they described. You know, it's going to be
I
flawless.
still have questions on how they fabricate those modules in concrete and then how they ship them and how much real local installation is required by hand. I don't
Those
think
are
it's gonna be
still-
like just
there's going to be
slide
proprietary
and the
secret.
There's
waterproofing
going to be
thing.
learning, and you know, if your plumbing needs to move a couple inches here and there.
Yeah.
Well, they
what do you
said
do?
they built homes in Australia and Europe already, so they've already done
They're in
that.
China. They built 6. That's it. That's what they said. And they were designing.
So it's
years to
and
scale.
that's the part that I just can't reconcile with. Is like, look, there's a brand new technology you're bringing into the country, and you pick the most expensive zip code to run your little experiment, and it's not a little experiment. It's like it's probably that
Well, why?
$250 million experiment.
They're billionaires.
Gamble,
Well, that's the proof. It's going to be the proof of concept. If they can do this with this topography in this town in this jurisdiction successfully,
But you don't need 15 homes to do that. I mean, you could have done that with 5 and then do another in other jurisdictions.
It could be much cheaper.
Well, it's 'cause
if
they're
you think
chill.
in Altadena. I asked that
Unlike the
question.
other asshole billionaires, these guys are chill.
But these guys are chill.
No,
And I love it that
but
they're
no.
investing the money in the economic development of
I
Malibu.
wanna ask you. Let's discuss about this. Why not Altadena? They can still experiment on high tech in Altadena, and they will be helping a much more affected community.
I think
than
they,
Malibu.
they want.
They
You know
don't
how
have
they
an
have.
altruistic motivation here. I don't think they're being shy about that.
You know how they have they had a showroom for their toys that we walked
Yeah.
through. Malibu's going to be the showroom because it's world famous. It's it's right there on the beach. Everybody could drive by it, and I hope that the Altadenas of the world come next if they pull this off.
And that's
They-
probably
they
what
can.
could and would happen. Like it would be Malibu, Palisades.
But there's
Altadena.
also a very simple sort of fiscal, like this is the approach that I take in my spec home builds, right? I mean, the cost of building the construction, the labor, that's the same whether you're building in a cheaper zip code or a more expensive zip code. But a more expensive zip code gives you more flexibility at the back end to play with the prices.
It's an investment pro forma type of
Yeah,
situation.
because I mean, a home in Malibu could go anywhere from $1,500 a square foot all the way to $5,000 a square foot, right? But in Altadena, the range is a heck of a lot tighter, and because you have that variation in the margin, you can really sort of reap the benefits of a beautiful design. Where people are willing to pay the premium for the design. And I think that's their play. But having said that, I still, would I concentrate everything in a 0.2 mile, stretch?
It's a glorious
That's
2 miles.
But they're gonna camouflage.
0.2 miles.
You're not gonna be able to recognize them. That's what they said. So what's the point?
Well, you will for 2 years while everybody else is building. They're going to be the only.
I think that the
complete
best
houses.
part. Okay, so I like to be critical, right? So the best thing is what Danny was mentioning, that someone has invested money on these beachfronts, and someone is gonna do their best to get that built. That's gonna be like a little source of light and hope for the ones. And then if you build a seawall, the next one is gonna be like, okay, they did it already. I can do it.
Yeah, I mean, right now the beacon of light we have is that first permit, right? But it's got 2 augers sitting there. Nobody can see what they're doing. They moved 1 foot in a week because they're doing the secant piles that
no, that's crazy.
the
man.
structural engineering
keep moving
community
every
is
foot.
forcing onto them. So, nobody's going to see that progress. But the Mowbray method, they're going to see that progress like that. And it's going to really excite people.
It takes time to build on the beach. I was the project manager for the tide pool project for the Nobu Ryokan, and I remember we were pouring those crazy 4-foot diameter caissons right there, like, and the waves was
shoring
coming.
wasn't good enough?
It was crazy. They had to do shoring with sand, man. It was like,
Who was the project manager of that one?
wow, a very expensive pool. I'm gonna tell you that.
Well, look, I mean, when we asked this guy the question, Marcel, I thought he had a great answer to me. That was one of the high points of our exchange. Was he basically said we didn't pick Malibu because it was easy. We picked it because we felt it was right.
But as a marketing thing,
Yeah.
But when he said the thing about the Tesla Roadster, that's I don't buy that one either.
I don't think that's completely. I don't think that's completely fair. I was almost moved by what they were talking about.
Yeah, they were
This
nice
is,
guys.
there's a humanitarian aspect to this pursuit, not just for our fire.
Humanitarian? Go to Altadena if you want to be humanitarian.
No. So they'll go later.
Let them solve this issue. This could solve
Let them get
affordable housing.
Let them get the Model
nationwide.
S out first, and then they'll get the Model 3.
Let them if
That's a good
if
trajectory.
Malibu's
Here
the profit motive for them to pursue this, then let them pursue it, and we'll see what happens afterward.
I mean, if you think about the last great advancement in American housing, it was post-war, right? And it was funded in large part by the government, who dropped all this money into R&D. Nobody's done anything like that since, right? 50s, 60s, huge changes.
Case study
And
houses,
everything
the real
went
ones.
to crap because nobody was putting R&D.
I mean,
money
I think,
in.
look, this has
these
a-
guys put in the R&D.
Yeah.
So
I think this has the potential to be disruptive. I mean, this is fundamentally a tech company, right? This is not a development company, and that's why we are getting the innovation of the fringes. If this was a development company like any of the, the big name real estate companies there, you'd probably want to see a regression, or you would have seen a regression back to the standard methods. But because it's fundamentally a tech company, which is what Tesla was. Tesla was at the core a tech company that also built a car.
they come at it from a different angle.
They come at it from different angles.
Well, listen, we got a front row seat to how this is all going to unfold, and I'm so excited to watch. Whether they succeed or fail, we wish them the very best. But I'm just excited to be watching this manifest right here in our backyards. Absolutely.
That's why I want to see the Malibu inspectors flying to China.
Yeah, right.
I like when people try new things. In my personal opinion, I think that they don't think truly holistically. Everyone thinks that they have their own solution, and I think this should be more like a global change.
It's
It
a
could be
start.
a global
But
change.
It's a nice first pioneer or attempt to be a pioneer.
yeah, it's a good and an expensive proof of concept.
And they can afford it, so
They can afford it.
Go for it.
Go for it.
Go for it.
Well, guys, another fun episode.
yeah.
I know I got a bail, and Daddy's family is probably already here, so let's
Thanks for waiting for me.
have a nice cruise, man.
Thank you.